A TYT fan killed 3 police officers. This happened a few months ago. The story came and went. It was one of many stories where cops were being attacked. It happened during the aftermath of the Dallas shooting, where a cop-hating black racist assassinated several police officers. This story was not reported on. Oh, the event was, but not his association to TYT. In today's world of fake news, severely biased news, cherry-picked editing jobs, and a total lack of journalistic integrity, the one thing that I implore everybody to keep in mind is please pay attention to what you're not seeing. Might seem counterintuitive. We are kind of like moths to a flame. When somebody's talking and they're presenting X, our impulse is not necessarily to think about Y and Z, but you're hearing X for a reason. And oftentimes the silence about the things you're not hearing is deafening. And if you can't hear it, you need to tune your ears because it is deafening. The Young Turks ignored the story that the shooter in Baton Rouge, Gavin Long, had been a TYT fan for years. He had done reaction videos to TYT, where he mimics their talking points, approves of everything they're saying, and praises them for their anti-cop rhetoric. He mirrored TYT videos on his YouTube channel, and we shall go over this. But first, a quick refresher on what happened to those cops a few months ago.
Several police officers have been taken to a local hospital after being involved in a shootout in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. CBS reports that 3 have died. 12 days ago, a black man, Alton Sterling, was shot dead by Baton Rouge police. A shooting in Dallas, where 5 others were killed, followed, where the gunman said he wanted to kill white people.
Another deadly day for local police, this time in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where 3 officers were shot dead Sunday morning. 3 others were wounded. 1 suspect, we're told, is dead, and there is an active manhunt for possibly 2 others.
So we've got dead cops. This guy set up an ambush, killed them in cold blood. And I'm glad he's dead. But where did he get his ideas from? Who nurtured his hatred for the police? Who stoked that flame? Part of it goes to Black Lives Matter and the general anti-white, anti-cop sentiment that is so prevalent today. Listen to this clip from Black Hitler.
When the police murders an African, this is what happens. First, the pig kills us.
Then, the media tells us we deserve to die.
The judge lets the pigs off.
And whites donate millions to the killer cop.
But now, there's a new step. African resistance. Fist up,
Fight back!
get these pigs
Off our back!
Fist up,
Fight back!
get these pigs
Off our back! Revolution has come!
off the pigs,
Time to pick up the gun!
off the pigs,
Revolution has come!
off the pigs,
Time to pick up the gun!
Off the pigs!
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Make sure to join the African People's Socialist Party at joinapsp.org. Touch one,
Touch all!
touch one,
Touch all!
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
But when I ask the question, who inspired Gavin Long to go kill people? It's not a rhetorical question. We know. Before they took down his YouTube channel, and in the immediate aftermath of his shooting, I went to his YouTube channel. Called himself Cosmo. He had a channel called I Am Cosmo. And he had a couple videos on there from the Young Turks. He had this one right here. It was with Cenk, Jimmy Dore, and some random woman. And it was called Cop Knocks Woman's Teeth Out in Illegal Arrest. So it's a fuck cops video, right? Only 3 minutes long, but wait till you hear the rhetoric inside the video. And just imagine that you've got this mentally unstable guy listening and absorbing it. Young guy, just soaking in the hatred.
A police officer in Texas was jailed this week for knocking a woman's teeth out during an illegal arrest he made in late May. James Angelo Palermo is charged with aggravated assault by a public servant for the May 29th incident in which he allegedly slammed a pedestrian against a car. This is so good. He pulled somebody else over. And then when another woman was walking by the crosswalk, he's like, hey, what are you walking on the crosswalk for? What are you doing? You're obstructing my arrest with this other chick. Grabs her, asks for identification. She's like, what are you talking about? Swings her around, slams her on the ground, breaks 2 of her teeth, and gives her a concussion.
What do we think here? I mean, obviously this is, as Bush would say, speculation. But what's wrong with this guy? Is it like a power thing? Is it roid rage? Is it something like weirdly sexual?
I would guess the woman was not white who he did this to.
Oh.
Okay, so right off the bat, first comment is to accuse the man of being racist. That's the first place his mind goes to. Let's look at the agenda. The whole reason we're doing the video is because fuck the cops. What other talking point do you think we can get to here? We know the cop is white, so glance over there, look at number 1. It's a little clue for you. Yeah, white people are racist. Fuck white people. So he speculates, just blind speculation, that the reason that this cop manhandled this woman was because the woman was black. Yeah, just throw it out there. I mean, what's the harm? Who's watching this video? I mean, Gavin Long is watching this video, a guy who months later will go out and kill police officers. But no worries. Jimmy did a little bit of research into this one. Turns out that this is the woman in question. And she ain't black, she's white. Sadly, I think it's important to say at this point that even if she were black, that would not be evidence that the white cop was racist. A concept that you regressives will never understand. So you race-baited, inflamed racial tensions, and stoked hatred towards white people and cops for no goddamn reason. Congratulations. Here's what actually happened.
He slammed the dude. I saw him slam the girl on the ground. She has 2 broken teeth. Okay.
New cell phone video of the officer arrested and charged with assaulting a student at Texas State. The young woman and her family speaking out for the first time. That's where we begin tonight. San Marcos police officer James Palermo was charged and booked into jail this month, a month and a half after the attack. The district attorney's office has since dismissed all 3 charges against the young woman he arrested, Lexi Alpha. KXAN's Erin Cargile traveled to her hometown near Houston for her side of the story.
Good evening. Lexi is in her senior year at Texas
I would
State.
guess the
She
woman
had
was
summer
not white
classes
who he
that
did
had to
this
be
to?
put on hold due to attorney and doctor's appointments. Her family has racked up more than $14,000 in medical bills. They are now seeking justice and trying to move on with their lives.
The photos are hard to look at, images that will be frozen in the minds of Lexi's parents.
He didn't have to go that far.
I don't know how you fix the damage.
Weirdly sexual.
I would guess the woman was not white who he did this to.
Oh.
I would guess. I'm not sure.
That's funny because, look, we don't... So I would have guessed that she was attractive. That he had like some sort of like weird pent-up rage in that direction. It's like, oh, I'm going to manhandle this woman.
Sounds a little bit like projection there, but yeah, again, hacky, amateur speculation with zero evidence to support it.
You know?
Oh, okay.
So now it doesn't really matter because what he did is horribly wrong either way, and so he should be punished, and he is.
Right.
But
that's the weirdest thing when you're around cops, right? You're like, oh, you want to be like...
Okay, so here comes Jimmy Dore on an anti-cop rant. Now just imagine that Cosmo, Gavin Long, is listening to this right now. Listen to what Jimmy's asking.
Compliant, right? But at the same time, if you don't know they're going to slam your head into a car or something, like, you don't want to be so compliant.
Right.
Like, so when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you... Because I've been in...
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you... Because...
When do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? What a message. When do I fight the cops? When do we resist? I wonder what Gavin Long took that as. I wonder if he thought about that.
And another thing, it's not really a principle, but it is in a way. So I just wanted to bring up when the Native Americans, when they were extincted by the same people that run this country, my question to you, just something for you to think about, at what point should they have stood up? That's something for y'all to think about. I've already meditated upon it. At what point should the Native Americans who are extinct, at what point should they have stood up? That's every individual has to think about that individually. You got to take that within and you consider that. So I'm out here in these streets. Your brother Cosmo, salute to you. You remember, you luck up, you get up, and you don't ever give up.
Congratulations, you became a cop. You're an official piece of shit. Cops are fucking liars. They're criminals. They're brutal maniacs. That's why they're cops. Get that through your head. Those cops aren't out there to do good. They're not out there to protect the Constitution. They're not out there to protect anybody. They're out there to get their jollies inflicting harm on people brutally, because that's why they're cops. If they wanted to help people, they would help those people, but they don't want to help people. They get their rocks off by doing this shit.
Let's just go with the numbers. Let's go with the history. 100% of revolutions of victims fighting their oppressors from victims fighting their bullies, 100% have been successful through fighting back.
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you, because...
Through bloodshed. 0 have been successful just over simply protesting. It has never worked and it never will. You gotta fight back. That's the only way a bully knows to quit. He doesn't know words.
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you, because...
He can't understand words, I promise you. He doesn't understand protests. If y'all want to keep protesting, do that. But for the serious ones, the real ones, the alpha ones, we know what it's going to take. It's only fighting back.
So when do I fight them?
Or money. That's all they care about. Revenue and blood. Revenue and blood. Revenue and blood. Nothing else. Don't even think about it. All right? And another point I wanted to make. All right. That was the point.
So this is a video that Gavin Long viewed, thought highly of, mirrored on his own channel, and took to heart. Here's an image of this video on his channel. Of course, his channel is deleted now. 2 days after Gavin Long killed those officers, the Young Turks decided to cover up their association with this guy. What did they do? They filed a copyright claim against him for both videos that he had mirrored. Now, one of them should have been under fair use because Gavin comments on it, and I'll play that for you. But here's the other one, and it was gone. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by the Young Turks. They never mentioned this during any video on this topic. This was brushed under the rug, and they wanted to wipe their hands of the situation. They wanted to not recognize the fact that it was their vitriolic rhetoric, their anti-cop bigotry, that led directly to this guy being influenced to go out and actually kill cops. The Young Turks don't file copyright claims. I've done hundreds of videos using their footage. They've never once done that to me. They did it in this case, and it was hush-hush, and they never mentioned it. In fact, take a look at what they named their video on the Gavin Long shooting. 3 more cops killed, anti-government, sovereign citizen group member responsible. Oh, really? Sovereign citizen. Every other video they've done, talking about sovereign citizens, has always been a slam against white people. They don't mention the racial element here at all. Of course they don't mention their association to this guy and the fact that they were the goddamn mentors for this man. Right, so the guy tweeting this out in regards to the Dallas shooter, the shooter was not white. He was one of us. Hashtag my religion is justice. Yeah, that guy is just a sovereign citizen member. Yeah, anti-government, right. Try again, guys. He was a fan of yours.
Right. She was not an imminent threat. She had no reason to arrest her.
And she's not going anywhere. He already said there wasn't a crime that was committed. Yet you are black, and I'm a little pissed off that you're not doing exactly what I said. So I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to brutalize you right now in public in front of a school. I don't give a fuck because I'm a cop, and that's why I became a cop, because I'm not a big thinker, and I like brutality.
What I can imagine goes through, I don't know what goes through his mind, but like, they've got to think this through differently. Like, if you don't think, like, I got it. In hindsight, if she'd given her last name, we probably don't have this situation. But you have to recognize as a police officer, what's going to happen if she doesn't? What's going to happen when I touch her?
Okay, I'll go out on a limb on this one. I'll go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say, generally speaking, women do not want their bodies touched by random, strange men. But again, I just went out on a limb to say that one. And specifically, black women. Which I know they don't want their body touched by strange, random men.
Of which, in this situation, in this circumstance, there is no risk. You're okay.
There's no risk and no crime.
There's almost no situation. By the way, there's nothing to de-escalate. Nothing's happened. They come in, they escalate.
That's right.
The cops came in. You're supposed to be the de-escalator. You came in and escalated the situation.
There's almost no situation. By the way, there's nothing to de-escalate. Nothing's happened. They come in, they escalate.
That's right.
The cops came in. You're supposed to be the de-escalator. You came in and escalated the situation, which makes no sense. Police officers are supposed to make peace. You came in and made it war.
Cops are fucking liars. They're criminals. They're brutal maniacs. That's why they're cops. Get that through your head. And that's the kind of city you want to run, where the cops cuff people, where they already on camera admitted there isn't a crime. She doesn't have to give her name. So they're illegally, and then you're defending that. They're illegally doing that. So again, this is the culture of America. We're in a police state. Police get to do whatever they want, even though it's illegal. We all know that she does not have to give her name. The cop already said it wasn't a crime, yet they fucking brutalize her anyway, and the city defends them, and everybody's okay with it because they're cops.
No, I'm not okay with it. I wouldn't give a damn if we have 7 billion people on the planet. Listen, if 6,999,999,000 of you were okay with this, I wouldn't be okay with it. I would have rebelled. I would have stepped in. I would have came through. I would have not complied. I would have died by protecting that woman.
And you did die, but you didn't protect anybody. You went out like a bitch, and you shot a bunch of innocent cops, and you rage quit from your pathetic, failed life.
I have no idea what's going on right now. The fucking police, they got a sniper over here on Be Quick on Airline, bitch. This nigga, Lord, I don't cuss on my Facebook. I'm nervous. Y'all gonna have to excuse me. This man, look at this. Y'all have no, the police are everywhere. This man is shooting at the police. They probably finally just got him. He has a mask on, looking like a ninja, baby. Nice little sniper rifle. He is military. I don't know who this man is. He about to start popping again, baby. Y'all need to go around back. Y'all need to catch him back. Back. Go back. Back. Go back. You fucking looking at us. Bring your ass to the back of the school. Oh my God.
If my life, listen, she's gonna be protected. Period. Whether my life gets taken or not. And this is a man's duty, you see. I'm not okay with it. Whenever it's a black man, then it's domestic violence. But see, what I see when I look at that, a woman, see, these officers aren't thinking. So I'm not thinking. I'm instincts without thinking. This is what I mean. You gotta start being like this, because they're not thinking.
No, instincts without thinking sounds like a terrible plan. Look where it got you. You got Darwined.
So you have to go off instincts, because once you start thinking, you'll start confusing shit. You'll start second guessing natural instinct, which is natural law. You are naturally prone. You see, because again, I don't see uniform. You see?
Yes, we do see. You don't respect authority, you don't respect law and order, and you sure as hell don't respect the cops. And you kill cops, but then a cop killed you. So, kablow. How you like me now?
There we go. There we go. Oh, God. They got him. They got him. Oh, my God. No, they didn't. You got your ass to go. Oh, my God. Go. He's behind us, bitch. He's behind us. Down right here. He's behind us. Go that way. Oh, my God. Get down. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I don't. Fuck that damn female.
Just like he said, they're defending her. The damn city is they're defending the cops. The city is defending the cops. Who's there to defend the woman? Just like he said. We see this all over the place. White women, black women, Asian women. This is everywhere. This ain't no race thing. These motherfuckers is animals. They're not thinking.
Cops are fucking liars. They're criminals. They're brutal maniacs. That's why they're cops. Get that through your head.
So this is what I see. I'm not thinking. I see two men, both armed, attacking a pregnant woman who was not attempting to harm them, and they know she's pregnant. No, she don't even got to be pregnant. She's a woman. She's not attempting to harm you. That's all I see. Two armed men. Again, let me repeat, because this is very simple. Again, thinking, when you start thinking, you're gonna complicate it. It doesn't take this much shit. Two men, one woman. Both of the men have weapons, and they're slamming her to the ground. And by the city defending the cops, they are legally defending tyranny. This is the definition. Legally and literally defending tyranny. And you know, when it comes to tyranny with me, rebellion is a responsibility.
Oh my God, he's right behind us. Please, oh my God, he's behind us. Get his ass, bitch. Oh my God. Please, I got my son in the car. Please. Please. Oh my God. Please. No!
She's lying on her stomach, and with the parts it's getting everybody, she's screaming, lying on her stomach.
Yeah. What do you do in that situation if you're there? If you're a person and you see these cops, you see these cops brutalizing.
Quoted as saying, like, they're the ones who are supposed to be helping me, but who is supposed to help me when they are attacking me?
I imagine that I would have been like, I feel like I would have, you know, I mean, first of all, I want to go up to her and I want to say, like, take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I'd say to the cops, could you just give her a moment?
They would crack you in the head
and
so fast.
Right, they'd hit me with, like, don't approach this.
They wouldn't want you to come close.
They wouldn't want me to come close.
No, they would get away, and if you don't get away, they're going to crack your head too. So what do you do in that situation? You just have to walk away and let an agent of the state brutalize a pregnant woman.
You take out your phone, you record it, but you know, it was already recorded.
So you just, what if they started punching her?
Right, then
so you just let it go?
I don't know, what would you do?
At what point do you step in?
What point do you step in?
I would open my trunk and get a tire iron, and then call my dad.
Egging, and it's a call to violence. Jimmy Dore wants you to be violent with cops. What's it gonna take? She was pregnant. Tamir Rice was 12. Here's another viral video and another. We've cherry-picked it and we're putting it on a loop. When are you gonna step up? When are you gonna be a man? Come on. When? Take action.
Here's what I'm not doing.
Oh, so Gavin Long is responding directly to Jimmy Dore now. To Jimmy Dore's call to arms, chastising people out there. What are you going to be, a pussy and just watch a police officer do whatever? You're not going to fight him? You're not going to take action and be violent against him? And here's Gavin's response. I mean, yeah, let's listen to what he's got to say, but actions speak louder than words. We know what Gavin's response was. And we know what fueled him. It was the Young Turks.
I'm not sitting and watching. I don't know what I would do. And he says he'll get the tire iron. I don't know what I'll do. But I'm not sitting and watching. That's what I'm not doing. Everything else is off of that.
Well, we do know what you're going to do. So in that moment, we have an impressionable young man who's obviously fucked up, and we have people impressing ideas upon him. And those ideas were to stoke his hatred, to be sensationalistic, to have no integrity in the covering of any of the stories that they do. They exhibit bias, distortion, hysteria, and intellectual dishonesty constantly. In that moment, Jimmy Dore could have said, look, even if a police officer is in the wrong, violence is never the answer. Like Ben Mankiewicz said, you videotape it, you prosecute, you notify the authorities, above him if you've got to, his superiors. Instead, Jimmy wants more. Jimmy is rabid. And Jimmy got it. Now, will he take credit for this? No. The Young Turks washed their hands of this. But wait a minute, are the Young Turks even aware that broadcasters can influence the minds of those who watch their program? Is that a concept that's lost on them? I wonder.
And he continues to lie about what Planned Parenthood does. Planned Parenthood does not sell baby parts. It doesn't sell baby parts, you fucking piece of shit liar.
Classy, Anna, you friggin' hook-nosed wannabe Latino bitch.
Stop fucking lying about it. It drives me crazy. You want to know what else he said? Let me read you a quote, okay? This is from the November 30th edition of Fox News' O'Reilly Factor, okay? Planned Parenthood is in the baby parts business, and deserves much of the harsh criticism directed toward it. The situation is reminiscent of the assassination in 2009 of Dr. George Tiller, a late-term abortionist in Kansas, okay? Here's what he continued to say. For $5,000, Tiller would terminate any pregnancy for any reason. He was nicknamed Tiller the Baby Killer. He was killed because of people like you, Bill O'Reilly.
Those 3 cops in Baton Rouge were killed because of people not like you. You people, the Young Turks.
But Bill O'Reilly doesn't report that. He lies. He lies over and over again and makes it seem like, oh, you know, this guy, he was killing viable babies. That's what he was doing. And then someone went out there and freaking killed him, shot him to death.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Anna, you lie, sensationalize, smear, degrade, disrespect, and stoke hatred against cops, till the point where one of your fans went out and killed 3 of them.
So the fact that Bill O'Reilly is defiant on this issue and refuses to accept the fact that his rhetoric is violent and it leads to death shows you what a hypocrite he is when it comes to his pro-life stance.
Anna, my responses write themselves. Your rhetoric and the Young Turks' rhetoric is violent and leads to deaths. What did you think the end game was going to be with all of your anti-cop rhetoric? Where was that supposed to go? You churn up the hatred, the fear, the animosity, and then you just take a step back and go, oh, no, we're against violence.
He's not pro-life. He's about controlling women. He's about feeding into this exploitation of abortion by politicians. And that's all it really is. He's a terrible person. Bill O'Reilly is a terrible person.
Yeah.
And he has blood on his hands. I'm going to be absolutely clear about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if he thought, and it seems crazy, but even if he thought that saying the baby body parts business over and over for months wasn't responsible for this guy going in and shooting up the place and then saying no more baby body parts, even if you thought that, maybe the next time you broadcast, you wouldn't repeatedly use the term baby body parts business over and over and over.
The other major story from over the weekend was Dr. George Tiller was shot in Kansas, and he was a abortion provider, fairly famous, made famous partly by the anti-abortion crowd, who have always hated him, and made him a celebrity in their hatred of him, and definitely aided and abetted by Bill O'Reilly, among others, who kept calling him, because they thought they were so clever, Tiller the Baby Killer. And there's a clip of O'Reilly on the web now where he says for about 1 minute and 40 seconds straight, it's one clip after another where he calls him baby killer, says what he did was the equivalent of the Nazis, and that he executed and terminated babies. Now, when you use language like executed and terminated, what is the proper response for that? In a lot of people's minds, they think, well, if he's executing babies, we have to make him stop. In fact, Bill O'Reilly and other conservative hosts would say from time to time, George Tiller must be stopped. And so a crazy guy goes and stops him by killing him.
You know, it's interesting, though, because he's talking about provoking violence, and he's the person who repeatedly referred to a late-term abortion doctor as a baby killer again and again and again, and he doesn't want to take any responsibility for that.
Again and again and again. Well, you know what happens again and again? I just typed in cop into the Young Turks YouTube channel, and here are the videos that came up, and I wonder if the message is clear. If you watch this channel, like I do and like Gavin Long did, you'll notice a theme. You'll notice the repetition of a singular message, and it's not unclear. And that message is, fuck the cops. The cops are brutalizing you, the cops are criminal, they're savage, they're evil, and we must fight against them. Cops freak out when armed residents answer door. That's a fuck cops video. Cops arrest woman for calling 911 on him. No, she was not arrested for doing, I mean, dude, you can just look at the title and already debunk it, but just forget that. Cop fired for not killing someone. Right. Great journalism here. Cop's body cam footage leads to murder charges. A cop committed murder. Again and again. McKinney police chief speaks sanely on raging cop. Cops are raging. Cop kicks black man in face in brutal video. That's not race baiting, right? Because the fact that he was a black man, that was the definitive part of that story. Cop gets away with punching and seriously injuring handcuffed woman. Black man pulled over for making direct eye contact with cop. Cop arrests cop, and that's when her trouble begins. Jesus. Cop who shot fleeing black man charged with murder. Citizens pull over cop, demands ID, and it's amazing. Fight back against those cops. Cop caught planting evidence. Cop kills teen, then sues family for $10 million. Well, it's a black guy and a white cop. Well, I'm enraged. Cop tased teen into brain damage. Miami cop brutally assaults handcuffed woman. Cop punches woman at parade. Cop sees gun. Cop fires. Cop kills teen holding Wii controller. Buffalo cop fired for doing the right thing. Cop body slams middle schooler. Teen choked by cop after refusing to show ID. Unarmed man shot at by cop while trying to save daughter's life. Cop in brutal killing of homeless man wants his job back. Woman's face shattered by cop in cell following DUI. Crazy cop harasses skaters. Cop pepper sprays handcuffed suspect. Cop beats suspect with shotgun. I mean, do you get the idea? It's one note, and they beat this drum constantly. And it's sickening and stunning that these people refuse to take responsibility on any level for the actions of Gavin Long. Though they did take action, they covered up their association. So they did do that. I would like for you to remind the Young Turks that we are not going to forget this. And just because they're not going to cover it, doesn't mean I'm not going to cover it, and you shouldn't be aware of it. The hideous bullshit that channel pumps out is not only false and dense and retarded, it promotes violence. This is just the anti-cop rhetoric that we're talking about. You want to talk about promoting violence, they are full-fledged promoting a race war. You talk about the tension between blacks and whites in America, these people are dumping gasoline on that every day, and they do it to serve their own interests. They do it for the money, for the clickbait, and for the virtue signaling. My criticism of these people is not just for shits and giggles. I'm aware at how people are easily influenced. And that's why if you have a platform, if you claim to be the news, if you have any sense of decency or honor or common sense, you should be held accountable for the disgraceful and heinous shit that you promote. And on the top of that list is your hatred of cops. It exhibits your preposterous obsession with trying to take on bullies. It's some sort of ridiculous public display of self-therapy that you're doing. Oh, you were bullied. You didn't have power. So now you're going to get back at those who do. And you're going to go after cops. Cops who get paid next to nothing and who risk their lives and are an essential part of our society. Yeah, you view them as the bad guys. They're the fucking heroes. You don't care about the facts of a given situation. You run on emotionality, bias, hatred, and selective editing. Well, I've taken notice, and I think you owe the public a video on this topic. You've gone after Bill O'Reilly dozens of times for his role in George Tiller, and he should be held accountable for that. He was obviously the reason that man's dead, just like you guys are obviously involved in the reason why these 3 cops are dead. I'd like for you to be held accountable for that, because you're not just cop haters, you inspired a man to be a cop killer. Shame on you. With that being said, fuck the Young Turks, and long live the cops.
You get what I'm saying?